Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Michael Burns with One Mic Out, and today I want to talk a little bit about freedom and why it doesn't exist. Not in the way in which you have grown up believing, and not in the way that I was raised believing in the history books and textbooks and everything in school, telling you freedom in U.S. is freedom and all that kind of stuff and whatnot. Um, essentially, what people deem as freedom is being able to, go and do whatever you want whenever you want, without having to answer to anybody or anything. And um, although here in the U.S., I mean, you are free to do what you want in terms of you don't have to work, you could quit. You don't have to um, go to school. Like I'm talking, after 18 and things like that, like it's all on you, but you're going to suffer the consequences of those actions, of those decisions. Uh, we're not truly 100% free in this country, because you have to earn a living in order to make it. You have to, in order to do that and maybe to live by a lifestyle in which you want to live, you have to learn some traits, some skills or whatnot, whether that's trade school or going to college, universities, and things like that. Um, so it is, freedom is, it's more of an illusion, and it's more of a great idea to get people motivated, and to keep you motivated. But in the sense that we are 100% free, that doesn't exist. And to make an example of that is, even, let's just say that you had no bills, you had no anything, um, to, have to answer to. Well, that might work in pockets of time, like in a generation, or two, but it's not going to last forever. And what I mean by that is, let's just say you were a millionaire, billionaire, yeah, everything is, you can afford everything that you want, and you can hire servants and people to do cook for you and to clean for you and to do all that kind of stuff. That's true, but you still have to pay them. You still have to do something in order to get that in return. It's not just free, and that won't last. Whether the money runs out or times change, governments change, things like that. It's not something that would ultimately end up being something for infinite time. The where that's just is how it is forever. Right now, we live in an era where a lot of people, a lot of younger generations, they want everything handed to them, almost a socialistic style of living, where everything is just provided. You're given a paycheck, you're giving a living wage, essentially. You're given little things, comfort, comfort little things here and there, but um, that's still not freedom. That's not. You're still now being very dependent off of something else that's not you. Where freedom really is you being dependent on yourself. But even back in the day, the hunter gatherers, they weren't 100% free, and they didn't answer to a government. They just answered to themselves. They needed to go. They had to eat, so they had to hunt. They had to gather. So that time in which they probably would have preferred spending doing something different, they still had to do those things that you must do in order to survive. And if you don't, then you won't survive. And what's the point of freedom if you're dead? Um, so freedom in the form in which here in America that we believe in it, it really doesn't exist, and it's never truly existed. Um, the freedom that our forefathers meant, was with the Declaration of Independence and with the Constitution, was just being free from a hierarchy or a monarchy, a government, that is ruled by one ruler, who at any moment he could say off with your head, and that would be so. Now, we live in a republic, and we vote in our leaders and in our elected officials and things like that, but they are not our rulers, per se. But we just all we did was take one evil and we replaced it with another, because you have to go to work every day, you have to pay taxes, you have to abide by rules in which that elected officials who you elected in or may not have elected in, created legislation to to say yay or nay on certain things that you can and cannot do. So freedom, you're still answering to somebody. Um, but I hear a lot of people are like, oh man, if I want to be I want to be prepper, I want to go off the grid, and I will never have to, um, answer to anybody again. Well, you do. You have to answer to yourself. You're still going to have to uh, procure food, procure shelter, things like that, maintain it. You're still going to be doing things that you ultimately wouldn't want to be doing anyway. Like truly, you would rather be utilizing that time to do other stuff. Um, and so, when a lot of people think of freedom, they think of just everything is provided for them, and they are autonomous. They can go anywhere they want, whenever they want, and just do anything they want. And like I said, you can with money, but that eventually runs out, and then you're back to square one. So, just a thought on the way home. Freedom in that regard, in the regard in which, um, you think it exists. Financial freedom and stuff like that. That's probably the closest you would ever get to it. But that still isn't infinite. It's not something that's going to last forever. You're still going to have to make sacrifices and things like that somewhere. Uh, so that was just a little thought I had on the way home. From work today was the fact that freedom truly is an illusion, and it's used um, as something to create patriotism. It's used as something to get you to give something of yourself to something higher, like I'm talking like the government, and it gives you a sense of fulfillment, and it gives you a sense of duty. It gives you a sense of belonging and a sense of fulfillment. Um, but it's all a manipulation tactic. True freedom, would be, you know, being able to do what you want when you want, and no one could say no. That doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. At least not in 2023. So that's just my thought on that. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on that. Do you believe that freedom truly does exist, or do you think that our left and right boundaries of life are just widened more than a lot of other countries, to where maybe we can do a lot more things within those left and right boundaries, but once you hit one or the other, that's it. Uh, so let me know what you think. Not a real deep thought, but just a thought I had on the way home. Um, but yeah, let me know. Like, follow, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. One mic out. Uh, YouTube keeps suspending me and giving me strikes for zero reason, and they're man, they're a bunch of assholes. And when you try and dispute a ruling that they made, and that kind of goes along with this, I'm at their mercy. But go one mic out. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think, and I'd like to read it and respond. So anyway, I'll hit you up with another one here in a few days. Y'all have a good one.